What's going on, everybody? Khalipa's Tech here, coming back at you with another video. In this video, I'm going to be showing you some tips and tricks for the Motorola Moto G 5G that you might not know about. Now, before we go any further, I do want to remind you to go ahead and hit that subscribe button. And if you want to learn more about this phone, be sure to check out my full review and beginner's guide for it as well. And as always, for the latest up-to-date pricing, don't forget to check out the link in the video description because this is always changing. But with all that being said, let's get started. So the first thing I want to show you is a feature called Adaptive Brightness. What this does is basically adjust the brightness of your display based on your environment. So if you're outside, for example, in direct sunlight, where it's super bright and your phone might be a little bit harder to see, it's going to brighten up the display. But if you're in a darker setting where you don't need it to be as bright, it's going to dim it to make the phone a little bit easier on your eyes and to save battery at the same time. So to activate this feature, we're going to go to Settings. From here, go to Display. And adaptive brightness is going to be right up here at the top, toggle it on. And as you can see, the display did dim a little bit, but if we were to go in a brighter environment, like outside in the sun for example, it would brighten up the display to make it easier to see. Now, adaptive brightness is definitely a cool feature, but keep in mind it's not for everyone. In fact, I personally don't really like to use it. I typically just keep my display at 100% brightness at all times. But if you haven't already, definitely give it a try because it will be a little different for everyone. At the end of the day, it's really just based on your personal preferences, and who knows, you might end up liking it. The next thing I'm going to show you is how to show your battery percentage on the status bar. So as you can see right now, we do have the battery icon, but there's no battery percentage next to it. But luckily, we can easily get the battery percentage up there at all times, and that can make it a lot easier to see where your battery life is at. So to get to your battery percentage, we're going to go to Settings. From here, go to Battery. And battery percentage is right down here. Toggle it on. And now, as you can see, the battery percentage is right up here next to the icon. Now, while we're in the battery menu, another feature I want to show you is something called Battery Saver. So Battery Saver is right here. We're going to turn it on. And as you can see, with the Battery Saver on, the phone is going to go into dark mode. And essentially, it's going to put the phone in a lower power mode. And this is going to greatly limit your power consumption, allowing the battery to last a little bit longer. Now, this is not something you're going to want to turn on unless you absolutely have to, because with Battery Saver on, a lot of the phone's features are going to be limited. And this includes the processor and background apps. So essentially, your phone is going to be a lot slower. But at the same time, if your phone is dying, like if it's under 20% for example, the battery saver feature can definitely buy you a little bit more time so you can get to a charger. Now, going to the battery menu to turn on the battery saver is easy enough, but there's actually a much quicker and easier way to do it. So no matter what you're doing on your phone, whenever you want to turn on the battery saver, all you need to do is swipe down once, twice, scroll to the second page, and battery saver is right here. Tap on this button. And now we are in battery saver mode once again. Now I'm going to go over several different gesture features this phone has. So to get to these, we're going to go to Settings. From here, go to System. From this menu, go to Gestures. Now the first thing I want to show you from this menu is two different ways to get into your camera. Now opening your camera app is easy enough, but if you're doing something else on your phone and you're not on your home screen, these features will make accessing your camera a lot quicker and more convenient. So the first way you can get to your camera is by double pressing the power key. Now, as you can see here, by default, when you double press your power key, it is going to launch the Google Assistant. So I'll show you that right now. And as you can see, the assistant is on, but if you want it to open the camera instead, all you need to do is tap here and switch it to launch camera. And now let's try it out. And as you can see, the camera opens right up. So it's definitely nice and convenient because no matter where you are on the phone, with this feature on, whenever you double press the power key, it's going to open the camera. Now say you actually do use the assistant quite a bit, and as such, you actually want double pressing the power key to launch it. Luckily with Quick Capture, you can get the best of both worlds, being able to keep the power key as a shortcut for the assistant, but also having another quick and convenient way to get to your camera. So Quick Capture is right down here. As you can see, this feature is actually on by default, so technically when you get the phone, you don't actually have to do anything to activate it, but if for whatever reason it's not working on your phone, this is where you're going to go to turn it on. Now that being said, with this feature enabled, all you need to do to get to your camera is go like this. And as you can see, the camera opens right up. Keep in mind that just like the first shortcut, you can do this from anywhere on your phone, so of course that means you don't need to be on your home screen. Now if you're not used to this, the motion might be a little tricky at first, so let me show you one more time. And there we go. So definitely a nice convenient way to get to your camera. The next gesture feature I want to show you is called Fast Flashlight. This is pretty much exactly what it sounds like. Basically just a quick and easy way to activate your flashlight. Now normally to activate your flashlight, you would pull down the shade twice, and the flashlight button is right here. Pretty simple, easy enough, but with Fast Flashlight, it's a lot more convenient. So we're gonna go here. Now again, just like Quick Capture, Fast Flashlight is on by default, but if for whatever reason it's not working on your phone, this is where you're gonna go to turn it on. Now once the feature's on, you can activate your flashlight with a chopping motion like this. And there we go. And to turn it off, do the same thing. And there we go. So as you can see, it's real simple and easy, but just like Quick Capture, the motion is a little tricky at first, so let me show you one more time. There we go. And there we go. So as you can see, I kind of messed it up at first. So again, it does take some getting used to, but once you get the hang of it, it does work really well. Next up, we got a feature called Prevent Ringing, yet another feature that is on by default. And essentially what this is going to do is quickly mute your phone just by pressing the power key and the volume up key at the same time. So it's basically like taking a screenshot, except instead of the power key and the volume down key, again, it's the power key and the volume up key. So just like this is going to show up, and as you can see, the phone is now muted. Now if you want, you can also use Vibrate Mode instead of mute. To do that, go here, select Vibrate, and now do the same thing, power key, volume up. And as you can see, the phone is now in Vibrate Mode. Now the next thing we're going to go over is a quick and easy way to take a screenshot. Now in case you don't know, normally to take a screenshot with this phone, you would be pressing the power key and the volume down key. So again, similar to Prevent Ringing. So like this. And there we go. But with the Moto G 5G, we also got a feature called 3-finger screenshot. So if you go here, like every other feature, this one is on by default, and as long as it's enabled, all you need to do to take a screenshot is put 3 fingers on the screen like this, and there we go. The next thing I want to show you is a feature called Attentive Display. Now this feature is really cool, and it's especially useful if you're using your phone for content consumption, like maybe you're streaming a video or looking at photos, and you want to make sure it doesn't sleep in the middle of it. Now you can technically just make your screen timeout time super long, but remember it only goes up to 30 minutes anyway, and even if you have it that long, that can drain your battery if you forget to lock it. So with Attentive Display, essentially what it does is uses the front-facing camera to detect your face, so as long as you're looking at the phone, the display is going to stay on. So to get to this feature, we're going to go to Settings. From here, go to Display. In the display menu, Attentive Display is going to be right down here. So right here, turn it on. And now, like I said before, with this feature enabled, as long as you're looking at the phone, it's going to stay on indefinitely. Now the last thing I'm going to show you is actually also in the display menu, and this is how to change your refresh rate. Now there are 2 different reasons you might want to do this. First of all, if you really want to save battery and you don't really care about what the motion on the screen looks like, you might want to change it to 60 Hz. Or on the other hand, if you don't care about battery life at all and you just want the highest quality, most premium feeling display you can get, then you might want to change it to 90 Hz. By default, it is on auto, and when it's on auto, it's basically going to adjust the refresh rate based on whatever you're doing, and I personally think it's really cool, but if you do have a specific preference, you can always change it. So to do this, again, we are in the main display menu. From here, scroll down to display refresh rate. Go here, and like I said, by default, it is going to be an auto, but if you want to save battery, then you can change it to 60 Hz, and if you want the smoothest display possible, you can change it to 90 Hz. Now, I personally like to leave it at auto, but it's really up to your personal preference. So if you're new to this phone, I would suggest trying out all the options and seeing which one works best for you. But those were my tips, tricks, and cool features for the Motorola Moto G 5G. I hope you enjoyed the video, and I hope you found this information useful as well. If you did, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and hit that subscribe button. And again, if you want to learn more about this phone, be sure to check out my full review of it on the channel. But that's it for this video. As always, I will see you in the next one.